Boom, bam, bam. I am President Chad. Welcome to Fantasy Blitz. So much has happened. So much has gone on since game week 6. We had the entire game week 7 blanked. We have teams that were scheduled to play in game week 8 that are now blanking. Some of us have been, frustrated, disillusioned with fantasy, how it's been going so far. Others playing their wild card, using their free hit. So many decisions heading in to game week 8 that starts today. Game week starts today, this afternoon. So take in the Fantasy Blitz because we're going to be covering everything you need to know to prepare for game week 8 and beyond. Again, President Chad here on the United Hour for the Fantasy Blitz. Let's jump straight into it. One of the things that would have shaped the way we would have started fantasy football this season was the need for Liverpool assets, the need for Arsenal assets. You know what I mean? Everybody had, well, we don't say everybody, a lot of people, right, would have had triple up Liverpool. They had Salah and Diaz with Trent, or Trent and Robinson with Salah, and then a lot of people were going the triple up Arsenal, right? Everybody, a lot of us had Jesus, a lot of us would have had a defender or maybe Ramsdale in goal. Martinelli became very popular. So these were players at the beginning of the season that we were looking at. And the reason we targeted these players was because of the fixtures. Arsenal had really good fixtures. Liverpool had really good fixtures. So it made sense to target these teams. Well, the fixture list has flipped. So no longer do these clubs have good fixtures. So let me run through some of the teams whose fixture list has shifted, and therefore we should be looking to shift away from those assets. First team on the list is Brighton, right? Brighton assets became in favor because of how good Potter was at Brighton. You understand what I'm saying? So Pascal Gross, a man that started off hot, two goals in his first game and continued hot, right? In their last game, they had McAllister, a double. You know, Trossard was an asset that people were looking at, and Sanchez, goalkeeper. Now, it is not that Brighton's fixtures are horrible. However, the key to Brighton's success was Potter, was the coach. He's now coaching Chelsea. So there's a lot of uncertainty around Brighton assets. How is this team going to perform? Is this team going to continue to do well? And then apart from that, Brighton's game this weekend is cancelled, right? Has been postponed. So they don't play in game week 8. And then there's a great sense of uncertainty about Brighton going forward in terms of their fixtures. Let me just run through Brighton's fixtures. So after they blank this week, they play Liverpool and then they play Spurs. Those aren't necessarily, game week 9, game week 10. Those aren't the kind of teams you necessarily want a team that is going through a transition to be facing. So until we know how Brighton is going to deal with the exit of their coach, manager, I would advise that we step away from Brighton assets. Next team that we want to step away from assets is Arsenal. Arsenal play Brentford this week, which is not bad. Not bad. So it gives you a little time to move away. But from game week 9, they play Tottenham Hotspur. Game week 8, they play Liverpool. And even though they have a fairly easy game in Leeds, on game week 12, Arsenal blanks. Arsenal, Manchester City, that game has been postponed already. So game week 12, Arsenal doesn't have a game. So you have 9 and 10, two difficult fixtures, and then game week 12, no fixture. You don't want to have 2 or 3 Arsenal assets and then struggling to, because everybody going to have Haaland. So you're going to have to put Haaland on the bench in game week 12, or maybe sub him out for 1 week. Who knows? We'll deal with that closer to that time. But you have to look forward. You have to plan your team thinking about what is coming. And game week 12, Arsenal doesn't have a game, and they play Spurs, they play Liverpool. The first time Arsenal played a hard team in Manchester United, a traditional top 6 team, they lost. So yes, we may want to keep faith in that with Arsenal assets, but good advice is to start to reduce those assets. For the max, choose one. Choose one Arsenal player that you believe in, whether it's goalkeeper Ramsdale. I, for one, I have Martinelli and Jesus on my team. I already shipped out and Ramsdale, and I'm going to be keeping Martinelli. Jesus, bye-bye. But whomever your Arsenal assets are going to be, try to minimize it to one. You don't want too much Arsenal assets heading into game week 10, 11, and 12 when they blank, right? And you don't want to be facing Spurs and Liverpool, really. Not really. So, next, Liverpool. Everybody has been jumping off the Liverpool train. I mean, flying off. It's like a ship sinking and the rats are just running. Men selling Salah. Who would have thought? Men selling Alexander-Arnold. Men done sell Robinson. Men selling Diaz. Everybody just getting rid of Liverpool assets. And you know what? That makes sense. Mainly, more than anything else, because of their poor performances. Liverpool have been struggling to keep clean sheets. They flattered to deceive when they played. Was it Bournemouth? They gave 9. Yeah, I think it was them. Yeah, they flattered to deceive 9-0, and it was like, yay! And then what happened? No, yeah. So Liverpool assets are struggling, and let's talk about Liverpool's fixtures. One, they blank this week. So again, you have high valued assets because all of the Liverpool assets are expensive, right? Unless you're going for a cheapish defender, and there aren't many of those that are guaranteed minutes at Liverpool. So all Liverpool assets are kind of pricey. So you have high price assets. They're not playing this weekend. In game week 10, they have Arsenal. In game week 11, they have Man City, right? Until these Liverpool assets start back to perform to the levels that we're accustomed to, until Liverpool starts looking like they can keep clean sheets consistently, I would advise you step away from Liverpool assets, right? And then you could redistribute this money. You could take it and spend it on other players. So let's talk about the teams that you should be looking to target. So on screen now are the teams that have positive fixture swings from game week 8 onwards. First of all, we have Leicester. Now, Leicester have a very tricky game because against Spurs, we know Leicester is one of the teams that have failed to keep a clean sheet. They are definitely going to concede some goals against a team like Spurs, right? Harry Kane, Son, looking to finally do something because all Son has so far is an assist. But the truth be told, after Spurs, Leicester's games are really good. You have Nottingham Forest, you have Brighton, you have Crystal Palace, Leeds, Wolves. This is a good run of fixtures. However, can I in good conscience advise you to go and invest in Leicester players? The short answer to that is no. I would not be investing in any. However, if you are thinking about it, Maddison would probably be a good shout. Fulham, great fixtures for Fulham. They play Nottingham Forest, they play Newcastle, which will be a tough game, but Fulham has scored against everybody. They scored against Arsenal, they scored against all the big teams that they've played so far. So Newcastle and West Ham, they should be able to get something. Not necessarily whether they win or not is not the point. They're going to be getting some kind of point, some kind of attacking returns for sure. Then they have Bournemouth, they have Aston Villa who's struggling, and then they have Leeds. So from now until game week 13, Fulham fixtures look really good. Mitrovic, if he is not in your team, plan how to get him there. If you're on a wild card, if you're playing your free hit, get Mitrovic in your team for this game on the weekend. And if you don't have him, sub him in so that going forward, he is on your team. Definitely a must have. We also have Andreas Pereira. We could, could advise you to pick that asset up. Is there anybody else that really jumping out at me from Fulham? The answer is no. Newcastle. Newcastle has been playing very well and they have nice fixtures. They play Bournemouth this weekend, then they play Fulham, they play Brighton, they play Manchester United on in game week. What game week is that? Game week 11, right? They play Manchester United, but then they have a game against Everton and then Spurs on 13. So between now and game week 13, and then they have had a fairly solid defense. They've kept three clean sheets so far. So even when they play the big teams, they put three past City when they played City. So even when they play the big teams, Newcastle are showing that they can compete. So it definitely for the next 3 weeks, this weekend going into the next 3 weeks, you want Newcastle assets. Some of the most highly transferred in people this week has been Trippier in terms of defenders and Isaac in terms of attackers, right? These are the kind of people you want to look at. Obviously, Saint Maximan, there were concerns because I think the game has him as injured, but more likely than not, Saint Maximan, with the extended rest of not playing last week, should feature for Newcastle. And if he doesn't feature this weekend, he would definitely feature after the international break. So these are the assets that you have to pay attention to at Newcastle. Aston Villa has a very nice fixture run as well. You have Southampton, you have Leeds, you have Nottingham Forest, and they meet Chelsea all the way in game week 11. And then after that, you have Fulham and you have Brighton. The challenge with Aston Villa players is that they have been real trolls. At the beginning of the season, a lot of people was looking at Cash as an option. He ended up scoring an own goal. They didn't get any defensive returns at all, finding it hard to keep clean sheets. For one, I started off with Bailey on my team. Had a horrible start to the season. He started to turn it around. His value has started to come back up. He scored a goal recently. So maybe you could target Bailey, but I would not, I wouldn't be rushing in on those Aston Villa assets, the Ollie Watkins, and yes, they have good fixtures. Yes, they have good fixtures, but I would be taking it easy on them. For the most, if you have one Aston Villa player in your team, you have plenty. That's pick one and hold faith with that one. Don't go crazy on Aston Villa assets. West Ham have really nice fixtures as well. They play Everton this weekend, Wolves, Fulham, and Southampton. All the way to game week 11, game week 12, they play Liverpool and then Bournemouth. So still, between now and 13, West Ham looks good. What's the challenge with West Ham? The challenge with West Ham is, as of now, nobody in West Ham has really blown up. There are a lot of people taking a punt on Bowen because the end of last season, Bowen was a man on fire every game week. Bowen was doing something. He was giving some kind of return, and people are taking a punt on him. But this season, he hasn't done anything. No assists, no goals. I find it very difficult to invest in a player. Yes, the fixtures are really good. The fixtures are really good. So this weekend, when West Ham play Everton, I will be watching that game because I would like to invest in West Ham. But I need to know who. And I don't want to base my decision on who to invest in West Ham on last season. Because let's be real, last season, big at the back was it. Everybody was like, yeah, 5 defenders, that's the way to go. The strikers weren't scoring. We were struggling to find a striker in our teams. A lot of us was doing the 5, in the back and one up top, or a big midfield and one up top. This season, the entire thing has flipped. So I can't advise you to go and base a decision moving forward. And last year, Bowen may indeed be the man. Looking at these fixtures, if ever there was a time for you to get back into a groove, these fixtures are definitely it. So if you're going to take a risk on a West Ham player, maybe you could go Bowen. But then Antonio at one point in last season was on fire as well. Then Bowen also has some new players on the inside. So I'm going to be watching West Ham, and then I'm going to make a decision for myself as to which West Ham assets I want to invest in. Now, there is a team that is not on that list that we have to talk about, and that team is Chelsea. Now, the reason we're not really talking Chelsea is not on that list is because Chelsea blanks this game week, right? Game week 8, Chelsea is one of the London clubs and they have no games. However, game week 9, all the way down to the World Cup, Chelsea's fixtures look really, 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 really good. So let's go through Chelsea's fixtures, right? Game week 9, Chelsea is playing Crystal Palace. After that, they play Wolves, Aston Villa, Brighton. They have a game against Manchester United in game week 13, and then they play Brighton again in game week 14, right? 15, Chelsea play where are they? Right, they play Arsenal and then they play Newcastle. That's a really nice run, especially the games from game week 9. You understand? Crystal Palace, Wolves, Aston Villa, Brighton. That's for, I mean, come on, this Chelsea we talking about. Yes, they have a new coach. We're not sure how things gonna run, under Potter, but still, that is in terms of players, that is quality. So, don't sell all your Chelsea assets just because they have a game week. They have a blank this week, right? If you who are the options in Chelsea? Definitely, we got to look at Reece James. He is a man. Once he plays, he gets returns in the defense, even if Chelsea doesn't keep a clean sheet. Sterling is an option. There are some of you all that might like Mason Mount. These are guys that you could at least look at. But Chelsea is one of the teams that you need to have on your mind to say, well, hey, let me look at Chelsea assets going forward. And that is what this show is all about. Setting you up, not just for a successful game week 8, but looking forward, at how you want to plan your team and plan what assets you want to move out, what assets you want to move in. So let's talk about captains this week. Since he has hit down on the Premier League, the man Haaland, who has just been awarded the Premier League Player of the Month, has been unstoppable. He is a points machine. He has not blanked one game week. He got my captain armband, and he should have your captain armband as well. Other options, Harry Kane. You know what I mean? Spurs are playing Leicester. As I said earlier in the program, Leicester hasn't kept a clean sheet all season. So, hey, those are your options for captain. If you don't have any one of those players in your team, what are you doing? What are you doing? Are you playing fantasy or not? Get those guys in, at least one, and captain them, right? This is President Chad for the Fantasy Blitz. Post your team down below. Comment. Let me know, what you think. Let me know what your team is like. And if you are holding on to your wild card or if you played it. I unfortunately played my wild card earlier in the season when I thought that my team needed a little bit of readjusting. So I don't have a wild card to play. I'm taking a -4 heading into this game week. During the course of the week, we're going to be showing you my team, how the weekend panned out for us, and again, my plans heading into game week 9. This has been the Fantasy Blitz. President Chad on the United Hour. If you like this video, like it, subscribe to the channel. You know what to do, man. Do the thing.
Support the United Hour. Click that like button and subscribe.